The Hidden Army. After the defeat in the war and the disintegration of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, successive Hungarian governments were unable to prevent the military occupation of the country. The Károlyi government that came to power sought a peaceful agreement through the signing of the Armistice of Belgrade, which provided for the dismantling of the Hungarian armed forces. However, the Treaty of Trianon caused a catastrophe for the army and the country itself, which after the peace treaty found itself surrounded by hostile states established on the detached territories. They formed the Little Entente. It was no secret that the goal was for Hungary to be able to defend itself, and so the Opponyi delegation's recommendation was rejected and the size of the army was minimised. The General Staff was dissolved, the number of officers and NCOs was significantly reduced, military conscription was abolished and restrictions were placed on the arms industry. The dismantling of all munitions factories was planned, except for one. The distribution of armaments within the armed forces was also decided on. The armed forces were not allowed to possess the means for fighting a modern war. The Military Inter-Allied Commission of Control, which the Little Entente states did not participate in, enforced compliance with the resolutions. The Hungarian leadership did everything possible to circumvent the resolutions. They distributed the unauthorized personnel among other organizations, and they tried to replace the military training with the Levente movement. All of the factories that had been producing armaments, except for 4 of them, were converted to the needs of the civilian market. The State Ordnance Factory, which was officially a munitions plant, was created from the remainder. The task of hiding unauthorized armaments also proved to be a major one. The majority of the equipment from the Great War was hidden in warehouses, railway wagons, and the attics of private homes and barracks. The disassembly of artillery ammunition in excess of the permitted quantity was supervised by the Commission of Control, but it was carried out by Hungarian experts who sabotaged the activities, and the majority of the ammunition was diverted to secret stockpiles. The Commission of Control conducted spot checks of the formations. The task force always sent out from Budapest. The inspectors were only notified of the destination while on the way. The authorities secretly followed the vehicles, and the possible towns and cities could be inferred from the route with the assistance of the Hungarian officers travelling with the inspectors. When the target was known, they informed the gendarmerie, who attempted to slow down the inspectors along the way. The schedule at the barracks was similar. They tried to win time by prolonging the entry of the inspectors, and meanwhile they sent home the additional personnel, hid the prohibited equipment, and smuggled out documents. The official structure of the armed forces in time of war was supplemented by the hidden formations and the already enlisted rank and file. This was the emergency structure, which would triple the size of the army. But the armaments of these swollen armed forces still lagged behind those of the enemies in terms of quality and quantity. Because of this, the Royal Hungarian Army would not have been capable of defending the country from the Little Entente states. Hungarian society was hostile to the activities of the Commission of Control. The members of the Commission were regularly attacked in the press. Impromptu demonstrations against the inspections were held in, for example, Kecskemét and Szombathely, and the personal safety of the inspectors was in danger during these. In the end, the Commission of Control was replaced by the system of informal checks of the League of Nations. A check could be ordered when a complaint was lodged. Concealment was successful despite the activities of the Commission of Control. A considerable proportion of the hidden armaments were retained. The majority of the munitions manufacturing capacity also survived. The converted factories could easily be switched back to arms production when needed. After the ending of the informal inspections, the Hungarian Crown Council decided to expand the armed forces, doubling the size of the army.